night after night.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be reviewing this album here. It is Balance of Power by ELO. So yeah, today I'm going to try and defend this album because it does often come in for like a lot of flack, as being ELO's worst album. I personally don't think so. I'll try and defend it a bit in this video. So yeah, this was their final album, the last sort of proper album, released on the 3rd of March in 1986. At this point in time, Jeff Lynne was very much fed up with ELO, and simply this album was a contractual obligation. He originally intended to make the previous album, Secret Messages, a double album to sort of count as 2 units, which he owes to the record company. However, Jet Records said, no, we're not having that, we want 2 separate albums. So Secret Messages came out in 1983, and it was another more than 2 years until the other album came out, which was this, Balance of Power. Another big change had happened in the band as well. Bassist Kelly Grocott had left during the making of Secret Messages, although he had been involved with the promotional material for the album. By this point though, he was long gone. They were down to a trio now consisting of Jeff Lynne, Richard Tandy and Bev Bevan. It's also worth noting as well that despite Jeff Lynne apparently being so fed up with ELO wanting just to finish it off, he took his time over making this album, not releasing it straight after Secret Messages. Though between these 2 albums he was kept busy. He worked on the soundtrack to a film called Electric Dreams, and contributing I think the single video was from that film, and he also worked with Dave Edmunds producing his album, and had recently befriended George Harrison, and their collaboration the following year would revitalise both of their careers. So yeah, when this album was released, it didn't get much attention. It just reached the UK top 10, but it stalled at number 49 over in the US. By this point, yeah, ELO's popularity was dwindling. Most of their 70s fan base had moved on, grown up, and generally no one was really interested in ELO by 1986. So yeah, anyway, I will now just show you my vinyl copy of the album here. Had this a long while now. I mean, I've got all of ELO's albums, so yeah, of course, I got this one here pretty cheap, not a rare album at all, very easy to find, despite it not selling much. I do quite like the cover. I know that a lot of people tend to really hate the cover. Yes, it is kind of off its time. You can tell it is an 80s album, but it seems a bit like an OMD sort of album to me, very sort of angular shapes and that on it, and bright colours. I quite like it actually. And there is the inner sleeve there with the lyrics, and then the picture of what was left of the band in 1986. This is on Epic Records here, but I think this is a foreign pressing. I think this is a Dutch pressing here, which is on Epic Records there. Okay, so now I'm going to go over each of the album's songs. I will score each track out of 10, and then those scores will be used to give us a overall percentage marking for the album. Okay, so it starts off with Heaven Only Knows, which is a really good track to kick off the album. Unlike many other ELO albums, which sort of start with a song that slowly builds up. I'm thinking of stuff like Tightrope and the beginning of Time, and even what's that, Shine a Little Love from Discovery. It has a little build up. This one just starts straight off, which it's very sort of jarring, the start to the album. But I would say the actual song itself is very, very good. I do really like the actual song itself. Production, yes, is quite dated sounding, but I don't mind that though. So yeah, Heaven Only Knows will get a 8 out of 10 from me. Second track in on the album is called So Serious. Now for this I do have the 12-inch single, which I will just show here. Yeah, this song is really great, really melodic, and lyrically very strong as well. It concerns Jeff Lynne's disenchantment with the music industry, and with ELO as well. like a kind of contrast, like the very fun, like quite upbeat music with like the slightly sort of like downbeat like lyrics like off like the album. But yeah, it is a pretty good track. So this is the 12-inch single to it here, and it only reached a rather dismal number 77 in like the UK chart, so yeah, not great. This does have quite a cool B-side though, a song called Matter of Fact, which is a pretty good track there, like I would say. So yeah, the single off this like is like worth getting, like if not like just like for the B-side. So now the third track up is one of my favourites on the album. It is called Getting to the Point, which I really love. I think it is one of Jeff's like best like ballads and like slower songs. Like lyrically, like it is like quite like emotional, like I'd say, sort of like concerning basically like the end of ELO. Like Lynn would like very rarely write personal lyrics, but here like I really sort of sense like it's sort of coming through, like sense like longing, like he sounds like a lost man like singing this song, like which he was like by the end of ELO. This was like actually selected as the third single like from the album, but like very few copies of it like were actually made, like as like the record like plant like who like manufactured like the single like were on strike like apparently. So this song like had like no chance of getting like into the charts. Like, I think I reached number 95 or something like it charted at, but like the single to this song like it is like very rare now to come across. Living secret life. And then we get another great song, like again could well be my favourite on the album, Secret Lives, which is for me a 10 out of 10. Like I just love the kind of sound on this song here. Yes, it is a little bit dated, but I still think it is really great. Like Jeff Lynne by this point certainly had like his like fair share like of like experience like as like a record producer and that. So yeah, a great song I think here. I think the chorus like is like really like uplifting like as well, and like lyrically like again like it is slightly sort of paranoid like lyrics, sort of like where do I fit in, like that kind of sort of like alienation kind of thing like coming through. So yeah, lyrically very strong for ELO. And then we close side one with a song called Is It Alright, which again I do quite enjoy this one here. Verses maybe are like a little bit weak, like they're quite like repetitive. They all start off like with the same line. I think it's like Dear Joe or like something like that. But like once we get to the chorus, it's just so upbeat, like so like brilliant. Like it just sort of comes out of nowhere, like the chorus to the song. I think it is really great. Okay, so now flipping over to side two, we start with, which is probably my least favourite song on the album. It's called A Sorrow About to Fall, and like yeah, this is a bit sort of slower track here, like a lot more sort of like relaxed and like kind of like downbeat track. Lyrically, like I wouldn't say it is as strong as like any off the stuff like on side one. Like there's a lot more kind of abstract and like a lot more kind of like generic, like a lot of ELOs, like all the lyrics are kind of like goes on a little bit like as well. We've got like sort of like a saxophone like in it as well, instrument never like ever used like on like ELO like records like before. And yeah, for me not a great track though, and no, Sorrow About to Fall, a 6 out of 10. I watched the clock staring from the wall. And then we have a song that has really grown on me, because I did review this album like I think about like 2 years ago before I had like my scoring system, and like Without Someone was one of the tracks that I never really rated, but I would say now it is also one of my favourites like on the album. Firstly, I think Jeff Lynne puts in a fantastic vocal, and like the production on the song like is a lot more kind of like restrained, like it's a lot less sort of like dated and like overblown like some of like the other songs are here. Like I think it is really great. Like it actually does remind me like quite a bit of like some of the songs like on like his latest album, Alone in the Universe. And yeah, for me lyrically, like again, like it shows like a sense of like longing and like loneliness to it. Yeah, a really great track here I think, and Without Someone. And then we move on with the album's lead single, which I have also got the 12-inch to this. It is Calling America. It's kind of like spot the difference like with like the covers and that But yeah, like anyway, Calling America though, I think is a really great, really catchy song, like concerns like a long distance like relationship, like what isn't like working out. Yeah, a pretty good track. Like the single, like it didn't do all that great, reached number 28 in the UK, number 18 over like in like America. This 12-inch single does have 2 unique B-sides, which is great, like with like some of like these later ELO singles. We have Caught in a Trap, which is a very good song, and Destination Unknown, which I think should have made the album, because that is another brilliant track there. So yeah, another single certainly like worth picking up. And then we have a song called Endless Lies, which I'm giving a 6 out of 10 to. Not another track what like I'm hugely fond of. This for me like is Jeff Lynne's attempt at like a Roy Orbison style, very big sort of ballad. And like to his credit, Jeff does a really great vocal, really like emulates like his idols like vocals great on this track. But for me, something like about the song just doesn't work. Like I'm not sure like if it's like the music, like the lyrics, but I think it is maybe like the production of the song, like especially like towards the end, it starts to sound very messy, very sort of claustrophobic, like sound mix like on this track for me, which yeah kind of like drags it down. But it is pretty short though. It is like shorter like than like 3 minutes I think. So yeah, it doesn't drag at all this track. Just for me, nothing too special. And then we end the album with a fun bit of like 50s like rockabilly with the song Send It, which I do quite enjoy. Like for me, like it is like a really unique kind of mashup like of like that 50s like rockabilly sound with like kind of like the 80s pop like production and like actual sort of like sound like on it. Like I think it is like a real sort of mad thing to do, but it really works fine. Song itself like is like a little bit like throwaway, again quite basic like lyrically, but I do like it. Like I think it is a really fun and like innocent way to end the album on with Send It. So yeah, overall this album would score 82%. So yeah, I would say this is a underrated album, because this is often like regarded or like disregarded like as like ELO's like worst album. Like it's one where everyone just forgets. Like most people say that like their career like really like ended like with time. But I would say most of these songs like are like really good, like in terms of like quality, like in terms of like actual like melodies, like really catchy songs. Lyrically, like it's very strong, like in places as well, like with a lot more personal like lyrics like coming into it, which I think is great. Yes, the production is of its time, but it doesn't bother me too much. Like again, like it's like with this album, like McCartney's like pressed to play, like people like usually like kind of like criticize these albums because of the production, but that is what like music in like 1986 like sounded like. So yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. So yeah, a good album like overall. Like as I said, like a lot of like these songs are very short. Like it is a short album, like only about like half an hour long. But like yeah, like all the songs really catchy. And like yes, it isn't like another like Out the Blue, like all like or Time or like Face of Music, like a new world record. Like it's nowhere near like as good as those classic albums. But I think it is a very good album like for a band who like were kind of like yeah past it, like I have to admit. Yeah, like not a bad way to end like their like career, or like I would say a pretty good album here. So yeah, I would be interested to know what like you think of this album like down below, like in like the comments. Like I sense that there would be like a sort of like a mixed like reception like to like this album. But yeah, like I would be very interested to know what everyone thinks of this album. Like also like please leave requests for future album reviews, and I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.